Nice. Yeah, John, definitely looking like night and day, quite literally here. And also a sight for sore eyes is the air tankers that are on scene here. We have the BAE 146 air tanker that's capable of carrying 3,000 gallons of fire retardant. We just saw that aircraft make a drop on the far eastern flank of this fire, or maybe the northeast corner of this fire. That's where we've seen a lot of the active flames. The wind appears to be kind of pushing this in a couple of different directions. You have the overall flow of the winds going from north to south, really kind of pushing this thing towards the coast, but the problem with that is towards the coast you have a downsloping effect. So the fire kind of slows down as you go down the hillside there, but then when the fire hits ridges that are kind of matching with that north to south wind, then you see it pick up a little bit. You see a little bit more of that dark black smoke as Chad, our photographer, zooms in on an area we've been watching between Sweetwater Mesa Road and Carbon Beach Terrace. We do have a couple of homes there that fire crews are stationed in front of. They've been doing a great job protecting these homes, being stationed in front of them. They are working with fire crews in the air to do water drops on the on any active flames around these homes. So we're definitely seeing a night and day situation here as we see one of those Firehawk helicopters make a pass through the screen there. Unsure if he's going to make a drop there. But the other good news here, in addition to that one fire tanker that we have seen make one fire retardant drop, the Quebec 1, Quebec 2, that's the name for those super scoopers that are based out of Van Nuys Airport. Those things are capable of carrying 1,600 gallons of water. They are here. We haven't seen them make a drop yet. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen them become a little bit more active in this firefight quite yet. I'm sure they have their reason, and hopefully we'll be seeing them take part in this firefight very shortly here. Another note I want to point out here, CHP telling us they have a SIG alert in effect, an ABC-7 traffic alert. Pacific Coast Highway, obviously for obvious reasons, is shut down between Canyon Dune Road and Topanga Canyon Boulevard until further notice. They're considering this a long-term closure as fire crews continue to work to put out this fire. And even when most of the fire's put out and you don't see any smoke anymore, there will still be fire crews and fire apparatus at the scene here blocking roads here. So definitely you'll have a few days of activity here at the scene in Malibu. Live in Air 7, Gabe Santos, ABC-7 Eyewitness News. Yeah, they're still just hanging out by Point Doom. Do you want to kind of scratch the north side of this fire here, go a little bit west, and see if we see anything different? Yeah, along the north side here. Copy. I think I could see the scooper scooping off in the ocean there. Shelter in place lifted. Newscopter headed back to Venice.
Did they find any homes that were burned, Michelle? All right. They're really going up in the air. Well, Michelle, have you seen a tanker make a drop? Irene just mentioned she saw an air tanker make a drop. We're unaware of that. We're not here yet. Okay. No problem. Yeah, Rachel, we just got back from fueling up and getting a full bag of fuel here, and the fire, for the most part, has changed a little bit in as much as it's just a huge smoke event now. Very difficult for us to see much. There's the Chinook, the Colson aircraft that is on contract to L.A. County, and boy, that thing is so effective. It saves so many homes overnight, making the water drops. But you'll see what they're doing right now is the wind is blowing from the north to the south, and this ridge line is the eastern ridge. On the right side of your screen is the northern ridge, and they're really trying to contain it. Now, I understand that the tankers are en route, but I haven't seen one yet. We're trying to get confirmation they should be here. Earlier, we knew that they were getting ready up at Fox Fuel, but what they're going to try and do is just make sure they contain this fire with the tankers. That's the northern edge of the fire. If you tilt up a little bit, Marcel, I think that's going to be Malibu Canyon Road if we go to Sky Map. And it did jump to the west side of Malibu Canyon for a little bit. And at least for now, it looks like that fire that had lit up that hill earlier that was starting to take off, that spot fire, they have knocked that down. That was a big concern. But if we go to the satellite view and a wide shot, it really gives you a little bit of perspective on exactly what is burning here. Now, that's a northern portion. As we pan to the left, that's to the south. You have Pacific Ocean there, if it does come up on the sky map here in a moment, in the satellite view, and that's the fire break to the south. But there are hundreds of homes, just like that one, nestled down in this area. The fire burned right up to the houses. We haven't got confirmation that any homes were lost. We looked, we couldn't see it, and that's because there's so much smoke right now. Now, the wind at Van Nuys Airport was much higher than it is right now. Winds aloft are calm here at 6,000 feet, and down on the ground you can tell there is not a lot of wind. There's the sky map, and now we can go to satellite view, and you do see exactly what is threatened right there. But it started about 11 o'clock yesterday, probably about 2,000 acres. I think the last official update was 1,800 plus. But fire protection is in place. There's a lot of firefighters, hundreds of firefighters down in that area where there are homes. But this ridge line right here is on the east side. They wanted to stop it from spreading any further east than Carbon Canyon Road. At least for now, they have done that. But that's going to be the key as they make our way into the morning and into the afternoon. And boy, when the tankers get here, I think we're really going to see a big difference. And actually, I think I just saw a tanker make a drop on the northern flank. So we do go a little bit to the right, and you can see it sort of settling there. So I think the tankers have just arrived, and I think that's going to make a big difference. Actually, it was a super scooper, which is actually a tanker as well, but not the tankers I was talking about or thinking about that dropped the retardant. The super scoopers only drop about 1,000 gallons. A big tanker can drop up to 11,000 gallons of retardant, and that certainly is much more effective than water. Oh, really? All right. Any city resources out here yet? I mean, fire helicopters. You see the faucet? Where is it? Off to our right?
Yeah, the lead plate with the super scooper.
Oh, okay. See the other super scooper picking up water offshore out there. It's at 1 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock off the ocean. I think that's him. I can't tell for sure. It's a boat, but. Might be a boat I'm looking at.
Oh, they're both right here.
Yeah, I had something else. Yeah. What was that, Carbon Mesa?
Community members is our #1 priority, and we will continue to assist all impacted residents as they are waking up this morning, and whether they're in need of any kind of assistance, even directions, we're here to help you. In regards to shelters that we're using, we have several shelters that have been established for the residents that are displaced. Pacific Palisades Recreation Center at 851 Alma Real Drive in Pacific Palisades. For small animals, the Agora Animal Shelter on 29525 Agora Road in Agora Hills. For large animals, Pierce College at 6201 Winnetka Avenue in Woodland Hills. The fire chief talked about damage. Unfortunately, we did have one black and white patrol car from our Santa Clarita Sheriff's Station that was damaged in the fire. Thank God the deputy was not injured. We are very appreciative of the collaborative efforts. If you look around me, this is a team effort, whether it's all the different agencies on the fire side, the different agencies on the police side. I can't thank the California Highway Patrol enough for a lot of the road closures that are taking place. But again, as I close here, I do urge our residents to stay informed. Stay informed by watching or following credible news sources, like most of you. Visit our Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department social media or lacounty.gov/emergency for updated information. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to introduce Kevin McGowan, our Director of Office of Emergency Services for Los Angeles County.
Thank you, Sheriff. Our heart goes out to all those that have been impacted by this wildland fire. I also want to say thank you to the residents, as the sheriff said, but also to all of our field responders and our emergency operations center responders. The county's emergency organization went into its full activation at the onset of the forecast, well before the fire actually started. We saw the significance from the National Weather Service, another great partner during this incident, describing this as a particularly dangerous situation that warranted a really sizable preparedness campaign across the entire county. That continues still at this moment. We still have a lot of risk and threat throughout the county beyond just what's occurring at the Franklin fire. We activated our emergency operations center yesterday at 7 a.m. and it's been activated 24/7 since. It assisted with the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, along with our partners at the City of Malibu, with all of our alert and warning emergency notifications. I really want to express my gratitude and thanks to the residents for complying with all those emergency notifications. It takes a team effort for us to do effective evacuations, especially when it's nighttime. Lastly, just to echo what the sheriff said, real-time information can be found by visiting our website, lacounty.gov/emergency. And with that, I have the pleasure of introducing the mayor for Malibu, Marianne Riggins.
Thank you, everyone. Marianne Riggins, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Malibu. I want to thank the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our Sheriff's Department, CHP, County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, and all the agencies that are responding to this incident. Currently, our Malibu City Hall is in the evacuation zone, so our Emergency Operations Center is running out of Calabasas City Hall currently. We do have staff that are monitoring the situation and reporting things out. We want to encourage the residents, please follow all evacuation orders. That is the most important thing. And I also want to thank our local fire brigades for responding to our fire here. Residents should have their Genesis app available to help with emergency evacuation notification. And I want to thank you, everybody, and please introduce County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Good morning. First, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the first responders who have been working tirelessly through this night and into the morning to protect lives, to protect property, and most importantly, to protect all of our communities. The bravery, skill, and dedication of our firefighters, our law enforcement officers, and emergency personnel, all of it is nothing short of heroic, and we're profoundly grateful for their service. To our residents, your safety is our top priority. Please follow all evacuation orders and instructions from emergency personnel. If you are told to shelter in place, please also shelter in place. These measures are put in place to protect lives, and your cooperation is critical. For real-time updates and emergency alerts, I encourage everyone to visit alertla.org. That's alert, A-L-E-R-T, L-A.org, and sign up to stay informed. I want to thank our local, city, and state partners who have stepped up during this critical time. This collaborative effort underscores the strength of our shared commitment to the safety and well-being of our residents. I extend my gratitude to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and all of our county partners who are working to keep everyone safe. Your coordinated efforts have been essential in managing this crisis and ensuring a swift, effective response. I want to recognize and thank our board chair, Catherine Barger, for her leadership and responsiveness in responding to our request and declaring a local state of emergency. This critical step will allow us to unlock additional resources and expedite recovery efforts for those affected by the Franklin fire. We also thank our governor, Gavin Newsom, for securing additional FEMA assistance, and will continue to stay in close coordination with our state partners to ensure that all impacted areas receive the help that they need. The County of Los Angeles shares a close partnership with our city of Malibu as well as our Topanga community nearby. Especially in these challenging times, we stand ready to provide the support and resources necessary to help the community through this emergency. To those affected by the Franklin fire, please know that we are here for you. We stand with you, and we will stay with you. Thank you again for everyone who's contributing resources to this incident. Your partnership is most appreciated. Thank you very much.
With that, we'd like to open it up to anyone who may have questions for the group.
Chief Baroni, I've got a quick question. You've got the air assault overnight. What's changed today as opposed to in years past where you couldn't use aircraft to fight a fire like this one?
Well, you know, over time, the LA County Fire Department and our partner agencies, either at CAL FIRE and also the Los Angeles City Fire Department, we've procured more helicopters with night, and our pilots have night vision goggles, so we are now able to bring the fight to the night. We've been doing that for many years, and we also have our quick reaction force that's funded through Southern California Edison. It's the big CH-47 Chinook helicopter. We had 3 of those helicopters on station tonight, and then as the sun rose, you'll see that our CL-415 Super Scoopers that we lease from the province of Quebec are out there dropping, and we're going to have a coordinated ground and air assault. We'd really like to button this fire up and get some containment by this afternoon. I believe that the winds are going to be continuing, so that's going to still create challenges for the fire department and for the LA County Sheriff's Department with evacuations, but rest assured, we are going to have a coordinated air and ground assault on this fire for as long as it takes.
Quick follow-up. You said under investigation.
If you would, because that's half the battle here. Do you have the necessary assets coming in? Camp crews, bulldozers, or start to cut line up and down the lines? Given this steep terrain, is that going to be more difficult?
Yeah, it is, Pete, like you said. It's very steep terrain. As you come up PCH, you can see where the fire is backing down and being pushed by the wind. We do have enough resources, ground resources on order. We do have our dozers, we have our engine companies, we have our Type 3 engine companies, our hand crews. We do have enough resources on order, but I would imagine that over time we're going to grow from maybe 700 firefighters on scene like we have right now to possibly 1,000 or more firefighters. Because of the difficulties in this particular area, time is of the essence for us to grab a hold of the fire and start getting containment.
Are you fighting the clock at this point, though? Because if the winds kick up in the late afternoon and you don't have those containment lines either retarded or cut on the ground, you're going to have problems because you've still got way too much fuel out there.
Yeah, so we could have experienced perimeter growth. We are expecting winds at about 2 o'clock, so we're going to continue the firefight right up through the day and then back into the night. The LA County Fire Department will be here until this fire is 100% controlled.
Sheriff Luna, you might want to step in here. Given that estimation from the chief, what are you thinking about on the idea of repopulation of any of these areas at all? Or is that even on the table?
It's always on the table, but working in unified command with all of our fire partners, we're looking at maps, we're looking at weather conditions. We will not allow the residents to go back until we are assured that they're going to be safe. And then I also want to send out this message for any residents who are evacuated. Our deputies are going to be here, very visible, and don't worry about your homes. Somebody breaking in and taking something. I know that's a lot to ask for, but we have professionals on our department, and we're not going to allow that to happen. And just a message for anyone who's thinking about coming to this neighborhood to do something like that. You're going to get arrested, you're going to get caught, you're going to get arrested, you're going to get prosecuted. Don't do it.
Chief, you mentioned that it was under investigation on arson. Is that standard operating procedure to have that branch of your investigative team in there?
Yeah, that's correct. I gave you the real-time information that I have. We do not know the cause of this fire at 10:50 p.m. last night, but the LA County Fire Department and the LA County Sheriff's Department are going to join forces with our arson investigators, because it's going to be critical that we learn why this fire started. And we'll make sure that the news media finds out as soon as we find out.
I'll go for the obvious, Chief. Have there been any signs in the area of any downed power lines that might conceivably have sparked this fire?
Not that I've been told, Pete.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to ask, whoever wants to answer this, how important was this preparation being in place for when this finally occurred? Maybe the gentleman from Emergency Services. You said you were aware that this special status had been already set up. How vital was it that you were able to do that and sort of be in place and ready to go?
Yeah, great question. It's the utmost importance, right? Preparedness is key as we walk into these dynamic situations. LA County learned a lot in the Woolsey Fire After Action process, and one of the big takeaways was lean forward into these red flag warnings, these particularly dangerous situations. We just had one back in early November. We had the same posture back in that duration event too. This includes upstaffing, significant coordination across all of our county departments and our city partners, and it is critical in us executing our mission, these complex incidents.
And could I have follow-up as far as the fire department placing personnel or getting personnel ready, getting equipment ready? What was done in that sense before this fire began?
Yeah, so LA County Fire and the other Southern California fire departments that were under the red flag did have additional crews staffed yesterday and through the night. The Governor's Office of Emergency Services did approve pre-positioning that was compensated for the LA County Fire Department. So we did have additional ground and air resources available to us last night at 10:50. But also our partner agencies that I thanked at the last part of my discussion, the partner agencies as well. We had a very rapid response of mutual aid resources into the Santa Monica Mountains and the Malibu area to assist us with this fire because of those strong winds.
And did you have people in Malibu flying any of the air attack last night?
Not in the beginning last night. I know that for a portion of time, maybe between 3 and 4 o'clock, our aerial assets did shut down for a while because of the wind speeds, but they are able to operate even with heavy winds, especially the CH-47 and the CL-415s that you see. We will, if it becomes too dangerous for them to drop, we will cut it off, but the minute that those wind speeds subside, we will launch our aircraft once again. But we're going to be here for the duration, and it's going to be a coordinated ground and air assault.
Do you anticipate any change in the wind direction in the course of the day and evening?
I have not had an opportunity to review the spot weather forecast for today, but I've not been advised that we're going to have a change in wind direction. I was told that it's going to remain a wind out of the north through Wednesday evening at 8 p.m.
Regarding maneuverability of choppers overnight, you see you had NVGs, that's fine. Do they compensate for smoke? Or is there a problem there where you have visibility reduced to the point, say, even with NVGs, we aren't going to risk an air?
So NVGs are not going to help us when we get smoked out, and sometimes that's going to cause a reduction in the number of aerial assets that we're deploying, because we have to make sure that we're safe and that we can continue the fight throughout the night. So if we do get smoked out, we will set down until the wind brings the smoke away and then allows us to go back and attack the fire perimeter.
So overnight, when you had those particular points where visibility was less than 200, 300 feet, choppers were coming in at 150. Was it the idea you don't call them in unless you literally need air attack on one point where you're going to lose a house or something like that? That's where they were bringing them in?
Yeah, well, you know what, Pete? I mean, aerial operations are a combination of perimeter control and point structure defense. So we use helicopters and our aircraft for structure defense, but we also use it for perimeter control. But like you brought up earlier, we need boots on the ground. Unsupported helicopter or aircraft drops do not put out the fire. We actually have to put a line around the entire fire, and this fire at 2,200 acres or more has a lot of unsecured fire perimeter.
Excuse me, sir. I know that there's been, especially since Woolsey, more and more kind of CERT teams, fire brigades across program I know that Supervisor Horvath, you've helped kind of create over the past few years. How crucial have those teams that aren't official firefighters but are CERT teams, community groups, how helpful and needed have they been over the course of the year?
Well, they've been very helpful, and I believe that they're very needed because it really needs to be a partnership between the community and public service. And the LA County Fire Department was proud to partner with SD3 and Supervisor Horvath to approve the community brigade. It's the first of its kind in the nation. And I actually saw the Malibu Community Brigade out this morning. So they really bridge that gap between residents and public service. So we appreciate it. We help train them. We make sure that they're safe. But we know that the community appreciates a role in helping protect their community.
Is the community brigade going to continue to be part of this process of fighting the fire?
I certainly hope so. I'm not going to send them home. Yeah.
I wanted to ask one follow-up on the pre-positioning. Were there extra personnel in Malibu at 10:50 last night ready to move up there?
Yes, there was. And we had additional strike teams. We had additional aircraft out of our Barton heliport. We also had additional aircraft out of our Van Nuys tanker base.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Because we knew that this event was coming. We knew that it was a particularly dangerous situation from the Weather Service. So that gave us the time to upstaff in preparation. Remember in November, we had the last Santa Ana event. We had the Broad Fire. Shortly after the Broad Fire started, we had the Mountain Fire start in Ventura County, and we went to the aid of our partners in Ventura. So we seem to get one significant wildfire every time we have a strong Santa Ana event in Southern California.
And is this something that's changed in the last 5-10 years, this approach?
Oh, I certainly think that global warming is impacting wildfire throughout the United States, and it's making it even more challenging for fire departments to respond to wildfire. It's undeniable, from my perspective, that global warming is causing more challenges for us.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Can you guys repeat how many people are under
Just let me finish, will you?
Give me a second, I'll give you that number right now.
Oh,
Well, John, you know, it's laid down rather nicely for the most part because we just do not have those heavy Santa Ana winds. If this was an extreme wind event as forecast, we'd be losing houses, no question about that. But right now the winds are relatively calm, and the fire chief talked about trying to get some type of containment. They're good. They've released the super scoopers. The air tankers are just so much more effective. There was an MD-87 that just dropped. There's a couple of P-22s out here, and I think we're going to see them hit this edge of the fire, which is the northern edge of the fire, repeatedly with that retardant, which means the fire will have nowhere to go but south. The wind is basically from the north to the south, and there are as many as 800, I believe, I heard, firefighters down in the Malibu area for fire protection, for structure protection, and that type of thing. Off to the right side of your screen, though, one of the concerns I see is I think they're going to stop this fire from spreading further to the west and wrapping back around. Right there, that's Malibu Canyon Road. You can see that there, and you can see Pacific Coast Highway. But right on the top of your screen, that's Pepperdine. We have 800 students that are sheltered in place. If this fire does continue to the west a little bit and then come down that ridge line, there's a lot of fuel. So they're going to make retardant drops there, but that is going to be key. If we give you a wide shot now, you sort of get some perspective of what is burning. That 2,000 plus acres been burning since about 11 o'clock last night. The helicopters have been key. Now, one thing that happens, though, when they do bring in the tankers, they have to move the helicopters out from this northern ridge. They're going to hit the northern and the eastern ridge with the tankers, and they're going to drop the retardant. That's just going to stall the fire out. But they got to release the helicopters from there when they do it. There's an air attack aircraft up here. It's like a ballet. You got to move them to the south side, and then what happens, they move us way north. We've been moved way to the north because of all the scheduling and how you just sort of place those layers. The layer on top is us, below them is the tankers, below them is air attack, and below them are the helicopters. So we've been pushed out pretty far. But what we see right now is somewhat encouraging. We don't see a lot of high winds in the area. It's calm up here at 6,700 feet. It appears to be relatively calm on the ground compared to what you would think of in a severe Santa Ana wind condition. And we're seeing a lot of tankers in the area now. I really think they're going to be extremely effective. So I think the fire chief had mentioned they may get some type of containment into the afternoon. It's going to be because of the tankers and, of course, the ground crews. But there's no place for this fire to go when it burns south. They have structure protection down there. A lot of the fuel to the south is already burned. It's the eastern and western flank that they're concerned about, and the tankers are here now, and that's going to have a huge effect. Didn't it burn to the Malibu area? Okay. Comes a couple more drops, or at least one more drop. He's a little high. He must be coming around again. Not a problem. That guy sounds creepy. Okay. And are we streaming now, Michelle? All right. Okay. And I'm Sky Rifin Air 7 over the Franklin fire in Malibu. And if you just joined us, this fire's consumed over 2,000 acres now. We haven't got an update on homes that have been lost. Now, we've been up since early in the morning. The fire started about 11 o'clock last night right off of Malibu Canyon Road next to Pepperdine, just north of PCH. And it moved very quickly. Had some pretty high winds. Boy, excuse me. It is so dry outside. We had some pretty high winds during the overnight hours and then into the early morning. But as of now, the winds have really calmed down quite a bit, and that is aiding firefighters. Now, the fire moved from that area to the east. It moved down towards the pier in Malibu, right along PCH. PCH had been shut down in both directions, basically out of Santa Monica all the way up into Ventura. Now, I came out of Van Nuys Airport and noticed the Ventura Freeway eastbound is so much heavier than normal. That drive out of Woodland Hills towards the 405 on the eastbound 101 is at a standstill. And the reason is right now Malibu Canyon Road is shut down, and everybody who used the 101 freeway, say out of Ventura, excuse me, not the 101, PCH out of Ventura, down into Los Angeles towards Santa Monica. You just can't do it. That's going to be shut down throughout the day and probably for several days. Now, Malibu Canyon Road is shut down as well, and there you see a helicopter. Now, the helicopters pounded this thing. They had 8 helicopters on this fire overnight and into the morning. The Chinooks especially effective. They can drop 3,000 gallons at night right on the fire itself, and they certainly saved a lot of homes. We watched them drop on fires that were right next to some of the structures, and those homes were saved. Now it's sort of a smoke event, if you will, but the good news is we've been really pushed off to the north. We're looking south. That's the northern flank or the northeastern flank of the fire right there. But the tankers are here. We've seen several tanker drops, and they drop Phosgene, which is a retardant It's red, and it's sticky, and they drop it on the forward edge of the fire, the direction the fire is heading. And then once the fire gets to the FOS check, it just completely stalls out. Here's a look. That's the MD-87. This is video we shot just moments ago, and it gives you an idea what they do. He'll drop it not on the fire, but on the northern edge of the fire. That might have been a high one. That might have been our first one. Marcel, it looks a little too high to drop. That's video, but we may have another one for you here in just a moment where he comes by and actually makes a drop on that northern ridge line. But the tankers are here, and that's great. They come out of Fox Field. I haven't seen a V-Lot. The V-Lot is the very large air tanker, and they can drop up to 11,800 gallons. That's just unbelievable. That's what a 747 does. I think that's a P-22. It's much smaller. It's not nearly as effective, but it's easier to get back and forth. I believe the 747 has to come out of Sacramento, but we do have a couple of DC-10s out of Fox Field, and I think they're going to release them and have them here soon. So there's the FOS check. That's the retardant that they drop, and that really is going to be so effective later into the morning and into the afternoon to stop this fire from spreading and becoming any bigger. So the fire chief talked about getting some type of containment. There's zero containment right now, but what they're going to do is they're going to work the edges of this fire, the northern edge, the eastern edge, and the western edge where we have all the heavy brush. The fire is burning south towards that area of Malibu, the city of Malibu, if you will. There's up to as many as 1,000 firefighters. They said 800, and they're adding more that are in place for structure protection, and we just don't have the high winds. If we had what was forecast, an extreme Santa Ana wind condition, we would have lost homes. I mean, dozens of homes, maybe hundreds of homes. But we just don't have that. The winds are relatively calm right now, and that is a godsend. That is the reason they're starting to think about getting some type of containment. If there was anything like the type of wind conditions that we had on November 7th, when we had the broad fire in Malibu where we lost a couple of homes, and then we had that horrific fire that broke out up in Moore Park that really just destroyed Camarillo Heights. I think as many as 200 homes were lost there, and that was because we had an extreme Santa Ana wind event. We just didn't get it this time around, and thank goodness. That has made a huge difference. So I think with the tankers making drops, all the structure protection that they have in place, all the helicopters they have here, and the quick response that they had last night, they were ready for this because it was forecast to have these high winds. I think because of that, they're really going to be able to get some type of containment by the afternoon. And that's impressive because a lot of times in Santa Ana wind conditions, you don't see any type of containment on these fires for several days. So if they can get some type of containment on this, it is really going to be something. We hope that we get word that no homes were lost. We do know that we saw a structure burning, but it looked like it may have been some type of container or something next to a construction site. There was a time when we could actually look down and we could see in, but towards some of those homes, but right now we cannot do that because there is so much smoke with this fire. It's just smoldering in that area. If we go to the satellite view, it'll give you a little perspective. You see that one header right there, and then you see PCH, and then as we go to satellite, push in a little bit, Marcel, that's the area where all the concern was, right down in that area, burned right down towards 1 Pacific Coast Highway, even jumped Pacific Coast Highway. There's some homes right in there that was very close to those, but I think they saved them all. This area right in here was definitely threatened. The fire came down the hill towards all those homes, but firefighters were able to save it. So we'll come back out to a live shot as wide as we can here, and it'll just give you a little perspective on how many acres are burning. More than 2,000 is the information that we have at this point in time, but the good news is it does appear they are making some effort to really make some progress on this. So it's encouraging right now because we haven't seen an increase in the winds. There was a lot of concern that at daybreak the winds may really start to howl down to this canyon. That just hasn't happened, and that has helped firefighters out immensely. We're going to keep the signal up here for some time, and we'll keep an eye on this fire for you throughout the morning. Are we doing the news cut-in? All right. Yeah, I see him. All right, copy that. We'll be ready. We'll give you 30 seconds. No, I got a clock up here. I'll make it 30. From the moment she throws it to me to the moment I get out. Okay. Yep. The tanker's coming around. Must probably be right in there somewhere. They're right down there our window right now, yeah. That was nice. That's just crane? Oh, no, it's a black car. Yeah, remember we're streaming. Yeah, blowing a bit, yep. It's a great shot right there, though. An interesting shot right here. I don't like what I'm seeing. I see a super scooper right ahead of them. So he just made the drop, and now he's banking towards them. Interesting. I wonder about this. They usually don't do that. Okay, yeah, they told me 30 seconds. So you dropping? Nice. Yeah, you can re-rack that one if you want. I only have 30 seconds, so there probably won't be much time to do anything. 56 cut in, so we got a couple minutes. I do. They did not. Okay. Why not just keep it in place? Silly, yeah. No problem. Am I up right now? Okay. All right, copy. Okay, you got it. Understand I have 30 seconds with Leslie? Yep. Boy, that corner right there, all those helicopters look pretty cool. You see 3 of them in there? That's great. Wow. Wonder how many helicopters they have on this now. It's got to be more than 10. Look at that, one right after the next. There's another one coming up along the shoreline too. Oh, there's 2 more coming up. Oh, they are hitting that ridge line. Copy. Leslie, more than 2,000 acres, but boy, one of the reasons they've been able to stop this fire from consuming more are the helicopters. They're relentless. I think we have 10 helicopters. That's a Chinook, can drop 3,000 gallons of water. Also, we have the tankers that are up right now. So I want to give you a wide shot of the fire and give you a little perspective. It is laid down pretty nicely. The winds are not as high as had been forecast. That certainly is fantastic. Leslie, with 800 firefighters on the scene, we have not heard of any homes lost yet. That is amazing. Copy. Well, that's a bizarre look. What's their plan for us, Michelle? Here comes another couple of, the super scoopers, I think. Well, seas must be calm. Makes them a little more effective. Yeah, I agree. Boy, they're really hitting that eastern flank, huh? Well, no doubt. Everything they got. They don't want that to go to the other side of Carbon Canyon, I see. I'm surprised the tankers aren't dropping in there, though. Michelle, what's their plan for us?